What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Clay's Coins, here to bring you some more information, education, and better understanding of cryptocurrency and the stock market. I believe competence creates confidence, and the more you learn, the more you can live. So today we're going to be talking about my favorite tech stocks that will do well this year, even given the circumstance of a lot of tech stocks getting beat down, hammered down, and not doing as well as a lot of people wish, with the Fed combating inflation very aggressively. So let's get right into it. Before we do, why don't you go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. It really helps out the channel, helps the YouTube algorithm get this video out to more people, so that way we can all make money together. Alright, looking at the first one, Apple. Ticker symbol AAPL. I would not be someone who would ever bet against Apple. I mean, this is not an investing year like 2020 or 2021. Most likely, if you would have taken out some put options on Apple in those years, you would not be doing too well. But put options right now might print. I would not consider that a long-term bet, though. Apple is absolutely a long hold. Looking at the yearly chart, you can see it's just absolutely substantial growth. Tech stocks are going to do, they're going to get hurt this year because of inflation and the Fed battling it, so aggressively, and the tough 4 rate hikes it's looking like in this year, 2 next year, and maybe possibly even 2 in 2024. So tech stocks aren't going to perform as well as they have, but with companies like, Apple has the watches, the TVs, phones, obviously, the iOS system, and cars now, which is pretty cool. If you haven't seen the Apple cars, go ahead and check them out. The prototypes look pretty awesome. So it's innovation at its finest. Steve Jobs is an absolute legend when it comes to, a tech capitalist and things like that. So all things considered, I think Apple will perform very well this year. And this is what we're looking at. Apple is sitting at a current, obviously this is close, aftermarket close, but 170.67 for a share of Apple right now. The average analyst has an upside, or looking at 175.28 this year, which is a 270 upside. As high as 210 they have some, but they also have some as low as $90. So that's why Apple, I do believe, will be a good long investment. I don't believe there's a great chance that it will hurt too much this year, just because it is the largest market cap in the entire world now. So that speaks volume more than any other company, any of the financials, any category, any sector. Apple has the #1 market cap in the world. So you don't bet against something like that. But if you're looking for, an upside and trying to get good gains, even in a market like this, Apple, it might not pull you the best percentile gains this year, but for a long hold, Apple is, an absolute banger. That leads me into our next one, Microsoft. Now, I'm not going to say I prefer, I think Microsoft is a better company than Apple, but looking at the upside and the analyst ratings for this year, I think that Microsoft does have a chance to pull some better gains than Apple this year. I believe we could look at upwards, it's the same, 15 or 20% would be a crazy upward push, but I don't see that, in 2022. It can happen. You never want to bet against companies like Microsoft or Apple or, the top 5-10 market caps in the world, just because they've made their name doing what they do for a reason, and they've done it for so long at this point. And, they continue to innovate. They can continue to utilize different technologies in different fields to get a broader reach out there and continue to grow in popularity, which is insane at this point when you talk about Microsoft or Apple. It's Apple's biggest competitor, hands down, when it comes to the computer side of things. It has the second largest market cap in the world. It's the most common operating system for computers. You have Windows, Mac, and Linux. And when it comes to, I can't imagine too many people out there know a lot of people with Linux over iOS or Windows. So when it comes to Microsoft, they're not going anywhere. They have, Microsoft Xbox and everything like that. They have many different sectors like Apple, where they have a really strong foothold of the market, and their roots are dug down deep. So if you're betting against corporations like Microsoft, Apple, and some other ones on this list, long term, you might not do as well as you would like. And looking at the Wall Street analyst projections, this is the only other one on Tip Ranks I'm going to show you guys. This is TIPRANKS, Tip Ranks. It's a great site you can check out for some Wall Street analysts and different analysis on stocks and stock market projections. And, from different people. You have a paid service where you can get like the top dogs ranked stock market analysts and different people like that who give their opinions. I'm just showing you guys the free version right here just because I'm not going to give you guys a bunch of paywalls to have to leap through to utilize the tools that I do. So Microsoft, as you can see, has that 18.17% upside in comparison to Apple's 2 or 3% on tip ranks. I am not that conservative on Apple. I can definitely see a 5% increase in Apple stock this year, especially where it just hit the #1 market cap in the world. It's clearly showing that it has gained speed, and the snowball has continued to get bigger over the last, 15, 10, 20 years. But the same can be said for Microsoft. Microsoft has been an absolute top dog in computers for 30 years now. In the 90s, my first computer had Windows 95 on it. So 371 is looking like the upside. 314.27 is what it's trading at right now. I would definitely be looking at this and adding it to your list. These are, I believe you should have a lot of diversification, especially when it comes to sectors. But as a lot of other, financial people and influencers and stuff like that, YouTubers have mentioned, you'll hear rotation a lot. Rotating out of stock, you don't want to have all your money in really big growth stocks and these little market cap, big growth potential tech companies, because they're just going to get beat down this year. It's looking like every time the Fed talks, the market hurts you more and more. But with stocks like this, tech stocks like this, you can stay diversified in sectors and not have to worry about waking up all through the night checking your Robinhood account even though market's closed. Coming in next, this is going to be a little two-piece for you with some biscuits and gravy. Two-piece AMD, Advanced Micro Devices, and the next one's going to be NVIDIA. I'll show you the NVIDIA chart here in a second. There's not much to say with these guys, with the chip shortage. AMD and nvidia have been pumping out more chips in the last year than Frito-Lay. So if you guys aren't aware of these companies by now, you've been under a rock. AMD has been an excellent graphics card, GPU, for years now. I've always heard, more for video editing and things like that. I've seen better reviews for it on. And then NVIDIA has made just absolutely beastly graphics cards, specifically for a few years when it comes to gaming computers and things like that. They were really a big pusher and a big leader of the ray tracing movement in the newest generation of consoles that had those beautiful, I'm not going to say the Cyberpunk release, but Cyberpunk E3 trailers were looking that good. Watch Dogs were looking that good. That's because of that ray tracing and, NVIDIA doing what it's done best for a long time. Looking at NVIDIA right now, getting over from the AMD, both of these stocks are just absolute bangers. This year has made a lot of people a lot of money with these two stocks. I don't believe they're going anywhere. They are both huge metaverse plays when it comes down to it, and with Facebook changing their name to Meta, with every single major cryptocurrency you can see trying to get into the metaverse or having their version of the metaverse, NVIDIA, AMD, Intel, they didn't make this list this year, but as of right now, I kept them off. They were kind of, I guess you could say, an honorable mention, along with Matterport. They should be huge metaverse plays, but as of right now, I would say NVIDIA and AMD are looking to be my two favorites for the chip sides and, the actual internal aspects, the hardware for everything we're going to be seeing with the metaverse and upcoming movements in technology. Alright guys, I will take a second to say I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is not an indication to buy, hold, or sell any stock or cryptocurrency. I have to say that, but what I will say, and that I don't have to say, is you should like this video, subscribe, hit the notification bell. That way you never miss an update, and we can really get this channel pumping. Thank you so much. Now we're starting to get down to it. Number 2, Roblox. This is the one we're looking at, ticker symbol rblx. Roblox is, in my opinion, I would say, from what I've seen, over the past 2 years or so, the #1 kids game out. Every little kid has a fascination with Roblox. I've seen, I have 2 kids my own, and when my kids hadn't even played Roblox and they could recognize and knew about Roblox before they had even actually played it, so when any video game or any company has that sort of quick household impact and it resonates with kids especially, who just love the imagination, and Roblox is really cool because you can build games in games. It's kind of if a lot of people compare it to a metaverse type play, and that was a huge reason why they are now a big metaverse push. They just did some big sponsorships, partnerships with Nike, Disney, Roblox, and the number one on our list were also had a bunch of call options taken out by Nancy Pelosi and her husband. And if you didn't know, Nancy Pelosi, over the past 5 or so years, has outperformed Bitcoin. That is absolutely incredible. So I trust her judgment most of the time. Most of the time. Everyone should always do their own due diligence, but when it comes to Nancy Pelosi taking out a bunch of call options, there's a safe bet that these stocks are going to go up, and Roblox is one of them. Roblox is an absolute beast. It's probably the number one tech stock to weather the storm if this last one didn't exist. If you didn't know it, now you do. Alphabet A, ticker symbol GOOGL or GOOG. It's the Google. I mean, it's Google. What are you watching right now? YouTube. That's owned by Google. Any YouTube video you've seen? I mean, when's the last time you went a day without Google searching something, or seeing someone with an Android phone using Google Maps, Google Earth, Gmail, Google Shopping, images? I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Google is an absolute giant when it comes to the tech industry. They are going nowhere. I mean, do you know the amount of data they have on everyone in the world? Google's going nowhere. They have pioneered the search engine industry and really have been one of the only faces that have stuck around since the early 2000s, late 90s, from the .com bubble and the internet age. I mean, they're still... Remember what happened to, AOL Online, Yahoo Search, Ask Jeeves, MSN? Google happened. I mean, Google is just... It's an absolute... You cannot bet against something like Google. Most of these stocks on here I would not bet against, but I did have Roblox at the number one on my list because of the popularity for a little while there, and then I just got to thinking, I was going to be making a YouTube video about this, and who owns YouTube? Google. Who owns every search engine that all the search results that you see? I personally have an Android phone. Google owns that, in case you didn't know. So you have a great Apple. If you're invested in Apple, you can invest in Google. You can also invest in Microsoft, and you can kind of hedge against each other. Same thing why I included AMD and nvidia. You can hedge against, if you have a lot of Apple stock and Apple starts to go down, but Google starts to go up, you don't have to worry. Because one thing is that's very important and that you should understand, especially in times like these, when there's a sea of red, blood is in the water, the sharks are out, these big institutional investors are just scooping up these stocks and cryptocurrencies at flash sale prices. They're banking on us, the retail investors, the dumb money. They're banking on us making emotional, irrational decisions, and that is not what we're going to do, right? Right. We're going to make good, educated, informed decisions based on technicals, fundamentals, statistical evidence, and data. Our own due diligence, look at a white paper, believe in the company, because if you don't believe in the company, you're going to have no idea what's going on. You don't know what it's worth, what its PE ratio is, its profit to earnings ratio. If you just see the company's trading at $100 and you think, oh, it might go up to $150. Well, what if that stock's really only worth $50? And then it plummets, you're going to have no idea what happened, and you just lost half your money. And that goes to the same thing with believing in something too much and putting all of your eggs in one basket. I don't care how much I, don't like iPhones. I've never had an iPhone before. Am I going to get an iPhone? Probably not. I love Samsung phones. Am I going to say Samsung's a better investment than Apple right now? Absolutely not. My personal preferences go out the window when there's money to be made. And that's the thing. Institutional investors aren't biased with their money decisions. Money does not care about feelings. Money does not have any feelings. Money is money. It's black and white, it's on paper, you can make it, and there's always money to be made, even in markets like this, even in sectors that are getting hammered down. And that's why I wanted to make this list, because, you know, I'm going to have another list coming out with some financials you can get in that will do very, very well, and, you know, historically have done very well with Fed rate hikes and increases to combat inflation. Financial institutions do very well, and so tech companies historically get hammered down, but I think these ones are going to do well. If you're going to have some conviction, don't have it in a company, have it in a sector, and then pick the best performing companies in that sector, and then that way you can say, you know, I'm still invested in tech, not I'm invested in Apple until it goes to zero. Not that it ever would, but you know what I mean. Alright guys, that's going to be it for today's video. I'm back. I had some family time over the weekend, which was great. I got a nice break and had some fun, had some time with my kids, and it's been pretty snowy. I live up in the northeast, so it's been brutal out there. It's supposed to be in the negatives tomorrow, so I'm bundled up, but I'll be posting regularly back on here, and I'll be catching up with you guys when I can. Thank you.